Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to my very special stream today. We have a very special stream because today I am finally inviting someone who is very dear to us. Today we're going to have a very special debate, and what sparked this was Mr. Mashallah, the guy right here. He wrote something very interesting in chat a couple months ago, and ever since I've been wanting to debate him on this topic. He had very interesting takes on authority and submission in conventional marriages, maybe relationships too, I don't know. So he's a young bachelor from Stockholm. We have met in real life a couple times. He seems, well, what's it called? Looks may be deceiving, and opinions may be deceiving, but he's a normal and a nice person in real life. And I'm gonna let him introduce himself for this debate. Okay, Mr. Mashallah, you can just introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mr. Mashallah. I am a Christian ethicist, and my background is that I'm Swedish with Middle Eastern ethnicity. I'm specifically part of the Syriac Orthodox Christian, which is of the Oriental Church in the Middle East. It was some of the earliest churches that was ever established after the ascension of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Before we proceed, Candy, I'd like to give you this opportunity to do your opening statement.
Oh, me? Wait, I thought
Yes,
I was the one who was leading the discussion here, but maybe that's part of it because maybe like
no, I like to do it this way because I'm a gentleman. I like to have the ladies do it first.
Oh, okay. Well, I was gonna ask you to have your opening statement. But sure. Well, I feel like it's easier if you do it first because I'm the one who's going to respond to you. But like, obviously, my stances in this topic is that I prefer and I like traditional gender roles, where I think that it's nice for a man to be dominant and a woman to be following, and I think it's important to have this dynamic in a relationship. While I think to a certain degree, and that's where me and Mr. Mashallah is disagreeing. He has very rough opinions about this, and you're probably going to hear this soon. So yeah, but that's my opening statement. I like traditional gender roles, but to a degree.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Thanks, Candy. I'm gonna start with my opening statement. It's quite a long one, so I hope you're ready. Mm-hmm. The prompt of this debate is going to be revolved around authority and submission. The idea of authority and submission is simply just this. The man represents the head of the marriage and the wife represents the body of the marriage, to which the body submits to the head in similar way that we recognize Christ as the head and leading authority of the church, and in which turn that Christ has the, to which the body submits to the head in similar way. And the church, meaning the assembly or the people, represents the body of the church as the body submits and follows the authority of Christ, which in turn means that Christ has the responsibility to lead his people to salvation since he has the authority. This debate will be about authority and submission, but I also think that it's going to be more than just that, because these principles are looked upon with outright disgust over the fact that a man with religious conviction can say these things with a straight face in today's society. Even secular men are looked upon with disgust and revolt, yet this is how human societies have been for thousands of years. In Christian societies, there are expectations and duties on men to be providers, to love their husbands, to love their wives, not husbands. Husbands are supposed to love their wives. Just like how Christ loved the church, they are expected to be the procurers of resources, to be the leading authority in the home, the church, and in society in general. They are also expected to lay down their life for their families, their societies, and their country as well, if push comes to shove. For women, the expectation and duties that are that they are going to submit to their husbands in everything that's godly and fitting for the Lord, and that they are to respect their husbands. They are expected to be loyal, affectionate, to be homemakers, virtuous, chaste, and to have her husband's children. This societal setup was called the patriarchy, which means rule by the father. This system was created because of the fact that the husband/father was responsible for everything that went down in his household. This system was set up in such a way which made it a safer environment for where women could bear and have children. Because during those times, when women were pregnant, they were at their most vulnerable because they were devoting all of their time and energy towards growing and having children. In today's society in the West, like America, Europe, and some countries in Asia like Japan and South Korea, where feminism, egalitarianism, as well as secularism reigns supreme, the expectations of women have been rescinded from them of what she was supposed to provide to her society, and she can basically do whatever she wants that makes her happy. Men are still beholden to their duties and expectations, and this can be observed by the jobs that they hold, where the most dangerous jobs are still held by men, and women are largely still holding the same jobs that they had approximately 100 years ago, even though they've had 100 years of feminism to work at the same jobs that men do, yet they choose not to go for those jobs and still have the audacity to scream that they want equality between men and women. If you look at the military personnel, most military soldiers are made up mostly by men and by some women, yet women are not put in the front lines where most men are dying. They are mostly put in support roles. The fact that secular women still want men to lead, open the door, pay the bills, and protect them shows the inconsistency in today's women. It also highlights the hypocrisy of those women. On the flip side, men cannot have the expectations for the women to be submissive, to be loyal, and all of the other things that I mentioned earlier without a few eyebrows being raised and most likely being called a misogynist. As was demonstrated a few months ago when I had mentioned in Kandyland's chat that in my marriage, I'm going to be the authority of my marriage, I will make the final decisions, and so on. What are the observable consequences of rescinding women from their duties? Marriage is at an all-time low, and no-fault divorce is through the roof. The birth rates are down below replacement rate, where it's supposed to be on average 2.1 in order to replace a country's population, but it's lower than that in most Western countries and even lower in Asian countries. Cohabitation is becoming more and more normalized, as well as out-of-wedlock birth as well. The sexual revolution, in which is directly tied to feminism, has led to more sexual degeneracy, more sterile sex, which means that people are having only sex for pleasure and not for reproduction. Abortion is also through the roof, thanks to casual hookups and hookup culture, to which mostly women are responsible for. I'm going to dive into this later. Women are delaying having children for education and career as well. And without any further ado, that's the end of my opening statement.
Okay, I just have one question. What
Okay.
was the prompt?
What I just said, all of that.
What was the prompt? The prompt that you were using to get that written for you.
What was the prompt? What?
Prompt. The prompt you put
I
into
just-
ChatGPT.
I didn't put this into ChatGPT. I pulled this out of my own brain.
Did you?
I did.
Okay. Yes. Okay, we're gonna
Don't
choose.
question my authority, Candy.
Yes, we're gonna choose to trust you. Well, I didn't really understand anything that you just said, but yeah. So please also just like don't read chat, don't take anything I say seriously. It's for comedic purposes, okay? I just wanted to say, oh, fuck.
I'm drop dead serious
honestly,
about this, Candy. So you better get your shit together if you're
I
gonna
know you're drop dead
really
serious.
bring it.
I know you're drop dead serious. So listen, when it's put to me like that, I think that I cannot really understand a single word that you're saying. It's like Hassan talking. I don't understand. So could you like summarize it or ask ChatGPT to summarize it with 3 sentences, please? Can you summarize your opening statement in 3 sentences, please, so that me and
cannot.
ADHD chat can understand?
I'm gonna keep it short and sweet then. In all times, for example, within Christianity, men and women had their own share of duties and expectations. Women were not less valuable than men, even though they are told to be submissive to the man, which puts them, in a sense of hierarchy, beneath the man. It puts them in a position that is lower than them. That doesn't mean that they are less valuable to men. Hang on.
Oh, his mother is like, "What are you doing?" Don't say that.
Hello?
Hello. Yes, I hear
Hi.
you. Yes.
Sorry about that.
Yes.
So
No worries.
basically, throughout society until around 200 years ago, men and women had duties and expectations to fulfill. If you didn't fulfill them, you were essentially ostracized from society because you would become then a burden. Because everyone worked collectively to make sure that society and their country could flourish. But
Wow.
over the past 100 years, where feminism started being introduced into society, the roles and expectations of women have slowly been eroded over time to the point where modern women are no longer beholden to their expectations and they can essentially do whatever they want, but men are still being beholden to their duties and expectations.
Okay, can I say something? Okay, I actually agree with you there. And I wonder, would you like all women to be traditional like in the medieval times, or would you like just your woman to be like that?
Well, here's the thing. Do we think about the society and country long term, or do we think simply just about ourselves? Because we got to delineate here. Because in secular society like Sweden, where it's the most secular country per capita, we are the most secular, where everyone is basically their own individual and they are not loyal to either the husband or their wife or to the society in general. You just do whatever you want as long as you don't hurt anybody.
Pretty
That's the
much, yeah.
basic.
I
That's
mean,
basically how we see it.
okay, so wait, so would you like Sweden to be more traditional for women to obey their men a little bit more in Sweden?
Yeah, I would like that.
You would
Because
like
when
that?
we, yeah, I would like that. Because when you look at how society used to be structured, where women were at home, staying at home, taking care of the household, raising the children, teaching them as well, and the men were out there working the fields, going beyond borders to protect their country, women were the most safe. These days, we don't see that as much because not only have women's duties and expectations been eroded, this has been the consequence of that is that men have stopped protecting women as well because there's no benefit to them protecting them if they're not going to have their own loyal, submissive woman. What's even the point?
Yeah, you think that's the reason why men have stopped protecting their woman? Do you think it have? I mean, I'm just like my brain is just going on a little bit. Do you think it might have to do with chemicals we're consuming or stuff like that, or do you think it's just because of woman that because woman is more independent, men are getting weaker, like woman is taking their role, or do you think it could be any other reason?
Taking the role in what?
Well, woman is taking like the leader role a little bit more in today's
You
day
mean
and
like
age.
in relationships and marriage?
Yeah, overall, because in Sweden, women are very independent. So I was just wondering, do you think it's because the women are leading, that's the reason why men are getting weaker?
No, I don't really think that's the case because when I observe what I see at least, women still want men to lead. They still want them to open the door, pay the bill, take care of them, provide and protect. But at the same time, when he's actually leading and taking charge of the relationship, if for a moment it may feel like it's being inconvenient to her when he's actually leading it like she's supposed to, then it starts to fail. And if she feels like he's not doing it correctly, even though he actually is, she may feel like it feels wrong, but that's not actually the case. And I see a lot of situations where this is the actual case where women want the men to lead, where they may reap the benefit of his authority and leadership, opening the door, protecting them, and all of that. But one day when he says, honey, I want you to go make the dishes, I don't want to hear a damn word about it, go get to it. He's being straight here. There's no emotions whatsoever. And he's just being straight with her.
Is
Look at
that the
your.
way? Would you speak to your wife that way?
No, I wouldn't, but I'm just giving a situation where he is
Okay.
actually leading her, where there's no emotion. And just by your reaction, tells me that when he's exerting his authority right there, you didn't like that.
Well,
So
yeah, no,
you
I did
didn't
not like that.
you
I did not like the way you
hang on.
spoke right there. That is
Yeah,
not a respectful
yeah.
way to speak to a woman.
Yeah, but it's not about being respect. But listen, it's not what I said, it's how I said it. That's the problem right there. You want,
Yeah,
you
a
want your man to
combination
be
of both,
strong,
yes.
you want him to be dominant, he's gonna talk that way. He's going to talk that way. And if you can't deal with it, why should you then be in a relationship where you can't even handle a masculine man who's acting that way?
Oh, whoa, whoa.
If he's being dominant, like you want him to be, and you want him to be chivalrous and provide and protect, he's gonna be dominant, Candy. He may be gentle. He's gonna be gentle with you as well because you're his woman, but he's gonna be dominant.
Isn't it pretty? I think it's pretty romantic to. No, it's pretty. Yeah, it's pretty romantic to be nice to a woman, to like, yes, do all those things, opening the door and stuff. And I feel like maybe under different circumstances, like at night or something, a man could say kindly to his wife, I would like for the dishes to be made when I come home. You know, I'm working hard, I'm doing all these things for you, could you make the dishes for me? Like, that's like a nice way of saying it. You can't say, woman, go to the kitchen, do my dishes. Are you seeing the difference? Are you seeing the difference?
Yeah, I see the difference, but why can't he say it that way?
Because I think that's really, really rude. No, I feel like there's very, very few women who's gonna like that.
Why are you feeling, Candy? Shouldn't you think instead?
Okay, I think that women shouldn't let themselves be talked to that way. It is not respectful to be talked to that way. Okay.
Most women talk to their men that way.
No. Okay, Mr.
Yes.
Marcella, I have a question to you. Are you in a relationship right now?
No.
No. And when was the last time you were in a relationship?
A few years ago.
Okay, so did you ever live together with a woman?
No.
No, you never. Oh, yeah.
Like in my culture, the idea of cohabitation prior to marriage, it's not really a thing. And there is a reason for that. And the reason is we don't want to essentially encourage the things that are supposed to happen in marriage prior to it happening. That's the point. For example, if you're to live with your man long enough, sooner or later, y'all are going to get tempted to do the deed with each other out of wedlock. That is not a good thing because the idea of having children out of wedlock is a very dangerous thing, especially in the old days where you would not have to be loyal to your wife unless you were in a marriage with her.
Well, it's 2026 now, and are
and
you
look
saying,
what that has led to. Look what that has led to. You're letting to cohabitation where men don't have to be loyal to their wife, or not even their wife, to their partner that they're living with. They don't have to stay and take care of the children either. The women can do that, and they send off the children to daycare.
So wait, right now, you're living with your mother, right, and your maybe siblings?
I still live with my family.
Yes. So does she do the dishes?
No, I do the dishes sometimes because she works as well.
Oh,
I help her around whenever I can.
Yeah, that's very sweet. Do you talk to your mother that way?
No.
No, you would never do that, right?
No, sometimes I have to be a bit harsh with her because sometimes she's a bit irresponsible and I have to deal with it. So when I tell her, listen, you can't keep just doing this over and over again. We've been over this. Like, if I have to put down my foot and actually be the leader, that means I'm going to have to be harsh sometimes. Doesn't that also mean you have to be harsh with your man when he's screwing up?
I feel well. I'm getting a lot of feelings now. I'm sorry, I'm not meant to have feelings, right? That's what you said earlier. But I feel really bad for your mother. I hope
it's not about you not having to have feelings. It's about if you're using your feelings to have them think for you, then you're gonna end up in a bad situation.
Well,
because you can do a lot of things that may feel good. It doesn't always make it right.
Well, I'm feeling that you should be respectful to your mother. She lets you live in her house.
Of course, I'm respectful to her.
You know, you're still studying and stuff. I think she wants good things for you. A mother always wants that. So
yeah, I know,
yeah.
And I do my best as well.
Yeah.
But imagine if I'm gonna be in a relationship and my wife walks all over me and I can't even say no to her. What am I supposed to do when shit starts hitting the fan and I'm the man who's supposed to be an authority and have the responsibility in the household and in the marriage? What's going to happen, do you think, if she starts walking all over me and I can't say no to her? Because if I do, I'll be looked upon as a misogynist or I don't know what.
No, I think...
What am I supposed to do?
No, I think in today's day and age, if you are a 30-year-old man and you live at home with your mother, I think she is the one in charge, even though you're the man in the house. But I don't know, since I don't have...
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But you know why that is?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm still her son and she is my parent and I respect her authority in the household. But even I have to point out sometimes that sometimes she screws up. She's a human as well. She may be my mom, but she screws up sometimes. Everyone's parents screw up. And I think it's fair for the children to point it out sometimes. Don't you think that's fair?
Yeah. Well, I of course I do the same thing to my parents sometimes, but I don't think it's necessary. And when I'm at their house, I'm a guest, and I respect
Mm.
how they want it. Okay, but let me just ask you a little bit. I don't recognize you were like this a couple years ago. What do you think that led to these views? Like, why? Who hurt you? No, but how do you think? Why did you start thinking like this and got this? Where do you get this opinion from?
Well, my opinions formulated by the fact that I observe society and I look at how it is these days. How it is, for example, with hookup culture, how it is with marriage, how it is with society in general when it comes to having families. These days, most people do want to have families and they want to have a lot of children as well, but they can't. They can't because society these days isn't designed and revolved around family anymore. It's revolved around each individual. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to encourage a society where every man has their own wife, every wife has their own husband, and all of them have children as well, because children and family are the backbones of society. After we are gone, Candy, our children are going to take over. But how can
Yes.
they take over if we don't have them to begin with?
No. So, are you having? I just wanna. Are you having trouble finding a woman?
No, not really. I go out on dates every now and then, but I
You
only
do.
date
Okay.
with the intent of getting married. I'm not
Okay.
dating to have a fling or anything like that. I don't want to do anything casual. I date with the sole purpose of getting married one day. That's it.
So I don't know if you're good at reading people, but what is their reaction when you say to them, "I want to be a sub." No, what's it called? I want to have authority in our marriage. What is
They
their?
agree.
Oh, they agree.
They agree because the only people I date with the intent to marry are people within my circles, people I know and who, for example, whom I go to church with. They all agree with me that um, they want a man who is dominant, who is a leader, who can provide, who can have authority, he can protect, and he can give her children as well. They want all of that. But that also means then that they need to reciprocate that with being submissive, being loyal, being affectionate, having their children, so on and so forth. So you need to reciprocate what the very thing you're demanding.
Yeah, I have a question. Do you feel like these views fit well in Sweden right now? Like you live in Stockholm, women are very independent. They don't even need a man. They are good on themselves. They don't feel like they need kids. Like, do you feel like these views are a good fit in 2026 in Stockholm? Did I think something happened. Did something happen? Hello? Oh.
Trees, as I mentioned in my
Oh,
opening
oh,
statement, I don't know, can everyone hear us? Because we're on a commercial break.
oh. No, it was bugging. It froze. It froze.
Okay, you want me to
It
continue?
Yeah, you can restart answering the question. It froze. Yeah.
Okay, so back to what I said. The replacement rate in Sweden is beneath what it's supposed to be at 2.1. And not just in Sweden, in most Western countries like North America, Europe, and even some countries in Asia, like Japan and South Korea, in those countries, in Japan and South Korea, they are less than one birth per woman on average. It's at around 0.7.
Okay, but I just have a question.
That
So, well, you're like in your 30s now. Like, are you trying to find a woman? I mean, in Stockholm,
yeah.
maybe you're not in. Yeah. Yeah. Like, what's your approach? Don't you think? Okay, so in order, what's more important, to be an authority or to have kids? Like, do you think maybe could you imagine toning it down a little bit so that you can be with a woman?
What do you mean? What would I rather have? Authority or having children? What does that
Yeah,
even
because
have to do with
well,
anything?
well, I'm just saying if you can't have both.
That makes no sense whatsoever. Because
You
wait,
might
are
not
you
be able to
arguing
have
from a
both.
secular viewpoint?
I'm just saying you might not be able to have both. In order to have kids, maybe you need to like change your views a little bit.
Not really, because women still want their man to lead. And if they want him to lead, he's going to be an authority. And he says, baby, I want to have children now. is she gonna be like, nah? If that's the case, why did he even get married to her?
No. I
Why did
mean,
she
like
agree to
maybe.
marry him?
Yeah, I'm just saying that maybe like you're going to go on lots of dates now for like 5 years, and you're not gonna find a woman who is submissive enough. Are you gonna settle for someone who is very independent?
I wouldn't date anyone who calls themselves independent because that word has no meaning whatsoever. What are they independent of exactly?
Well, maybe they have a job where they take care of themselves. They don't need you for financial reasons. They have a.
But those
they
women
have a-
still want a man that pays all of their bills and takes care of them financially.
No, not if they
They
have a
still-
really good paying job. They don't care if they have a man.
They do. They actually do. They actually still want a man to provide and take care of them, even though they call themselves independent.
I
They
think
still
some woman
do.
in today's day and age in Sweden, I think some woman actually just wants like a puppy dog man. You know?
Yeah, well, I don't want to be that person because that's no woman there's no woman on the planet that would actually respect that if they're going to be a traditional woman, because that man wouldn't be able to protect her from dangers.
No, maybe she can protect herself, you know? It
How?
could happen.
How would they protect themselves in Sweden where you're not even allowed to get pepper spray? How would you protect yourself from dangers like, I don't know, other men that may want to do ill will towards you?
Yeah, you don't put yourself in those situations. Like, I don't go out at night.
But shit's gonna happen one way or another, Candy. It was not their intent for it to happen, but bad things are gonna happen regardless. And you know why? Because men have been disincentivized to protect women due to the fact that women have been rescinded from their duties. Men have no longer anything to protect, so why should they protect women?
Okay. This guy said you're gonna get attacked. Oh, sorry, I'm not supposed to read chat.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
see what
gonna
you
get.
meant.
I'm not gonna get attacked. Because
No,
I
you're
don't leave
not.
my house at night. Okay, but Mr. Mashallah, could you describe to me what is the ideal Christian marriage? Like, can you like paint, because this is good manifestation too if you want it. Like, how would you like your life to look like maybe 5 years from now? What is the ideal Christian marriage?
Okay, I have a few verses for you since that was one of your questions. So I'm gonna read a few of them.
Well, that's not the one I asked right now, though. But
What would I want my marriage life to look like in 5 years? Oh, let's see, be married, have a few kids, small home, big yard so I can grow my own food and do all of that stuff. Make stuff that's homemade, because that's homemade is best made.
Mhm.
That's what I would like it to look like. I want it to be a
Okay.
Christian marriage, like I said earlier in my opening statements.
Yes. Wait. Let me wait 1 second. I'm just gonna bring one thing up. Well, if you would like to, wait. No, but okay. I was more asking. Okay, that's good. Those views are great to have a house and a wife and children. But I more wanted. Well, I guess maybe people understand now. I more wanted you to explain, like where does the line go? Like how much authority?
Where
would you have?
does the authority go and where does it stop? Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna read a few verses so I can actually provide actual
Okay.
context and then explain the logic and reasoning behind them. So I'm gonna read a few verses. If you want, you can look them
Yes.
up as well.
Oh, you can read them. Yeah. Or should I get
Okay, hang on.
my Bible?
Okay, do you have it on hand or do you want me to wait?
I have one here. Yes.
Okay, I want you to look up Ephesians chapter 5, verse 21 to 33. We can start from there.
20. What did you say? 20.
Ephesians chapter 5.
Chapter 5.
Efesierbrevet kapitel 5.
Oh, okay, I'm there. But this I have it in Swedish. You're probably gonna read it in English, or?
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
You can still follow along.
Okay.
Okay. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 21 to 33. Instructions for the Christian households. Submit to one another out of reverence for Christ. Now here it says, submit to one another out of reverence for Christ. What does this mean? It means that the husband submits to his wife in terms of caring for her. Meaning, even though he's the leader and has the authority, he's still he's still a service to her. He's still a service provider to her. So basically, he's providing his services of protection and provision of resources and all that. That's
so you're
what it
getting.
means.
Oh, you're basically getting all of your saying. You're getting from this verse. I'm hearing, like I'm seeing all.
Among other
what you
things.
just said. Yeah.
Okay, then let's continue. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 22. Wives, submit yourselves to your own husbands as you do to the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church, his body, of which he is the Savior. Now, as the church submits to Christ, so also wives should submit to their husbands in everything. Now, in this verse, basically, the man is placed in the role of authority in the marriage because he represents the Christ head. And Christ is the leader and the main authority in the church. In this case, the church is essentially just the people who go to church every Sunday when they sit down and listen to the preacher when he's preaching. Get it?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I get it. Yeah, this is what it says in the Bible. Yeah, it's up to interpretation.
No, it's not actually. It's not actually up to interpretation. It's very clear because if you read wait. If you actually read the original Bibles that were written in Greek, you're gonna see that all of the words are correct. Now, there may be some different words that are used depending on which Bible you're reading, but the message is still clear that wives are to submit to their husbands as they would do to the Lord. Now, let me ask you this, Candy.
Well,
if you're
can I say one thing? Yes, I'm a Christian. And I'm reading this text that you just told us that you're getting a lot of your ideas from. I'm thinking that I'm seeing the Bible as pointers, like as good life advice, as an ancient way of getting life advice and idea and like guidelines on how to act. And when I'm seeing this, and then I will apply it to 2026, I'm thinking that we don't really need it doesn't have to be a man who's the authority. In good relationships and in good friendships and everywhere, maybe it's necessary for one person to be more of a leader and one person to be more of a follower. Like, it's always good to have that arrangement, like someone is leading the wolf pack. And I feel like, or I think that
okay,
and it doesn't have to be a man. Yes, it says man here in the Bible, but I don't think it doesn't have to be a man. It can just be like, it's basically like it's saying that it's good.
But the thing with this is, the reason he's placed in authority is because he has the ultimate responsibility. That's the reason. You can't have authority without responsibility. That doesn't work. You can't have it vice versa either. Now, hang on. You said that it doesn't have to be just a man all the time. If it's gonna be a woman, when does she determine when she's gonna lead and take responsibility? Because if something bad would have happened to you, who is now in authority and has the duties to protect your family, and you would have lose your life, do you think that was gonna be worth it?
I think in today's day and age, especially in Sweden, we don't. A woman can provide and defend her family just as well as a man can.
No, they can't. They cannot, because most women can't even shoot guns properly.
We can't even if shoot guns in Sweden.
No, they can't. They can't even clock a gun correctly, Candy. They don't have the hand strength to do that. Not only that.
Oh, of course, I have the hand strength to do that. I do. I can definitely.
Congratulations, you're one of the few who can do it. You're the exception, and the exception proves the rule. That most women can't do it.
Well, there's no need to have a gun in today's nation in Sweden. We're not allowed to have guns.
Yes, you need guns. You want to know why?
Do you have a gun?
I don't. I can't have a gun.
No,
it's illegal for me to have a gun. In fact,
so what's the reason to be able to shoot a gun?
To protect myself, not to go kill people.
Okay, but you can't have one, so there's no reason we can just move
on
from that then.
So how do you expect me then to provide and protect you if I can't defend my family properly without any tools whatsoever? How am I supposed to do that as the man? How am I supposed to do that? What would you do?
You have to figure it out. I think a woman would have figured it out.
How? Tell me.
How? Well, should I tell you? I thought you were the man. Well, anyway,
You're the woman here. If you
yes.
want to take lead, go ahead and tell me how you would do it then.
How to defend myself? Well, okay, so I don't believe I believe that we should not have guns. I think America is crazy to allow so many guns. In Sweden we have a very strict gun law, and
Yeah, I know.
and yeah. So I mean, in your neighborhood, yeah, it's pretty bad with guns, but I've never seen
It's pretty
one.
bad in a lot of neighborhoods. Stockholm isn't the only one, Candy. Malmö has 65 no-go zones. It's worse than Baghdad.
Yeah, well,
This is
anyway,
an actual war
but
zone.
that's the thing. Like, if we can't do anything to support
Yeah, but
ourselves with
we
guns.
can't defend ourselves either. That's the problem. If we try to defend ourselves and we may go a bit too far, we're the ones who get arrested, not the perpetrators. We're the ones who get arrested.
I would suggest
victims.
not to get yourself in those situations. And if you're serious,
yeah, but
maybe
I'm not
you want a
putting
family,
myself in those situations. Hang on. I'm not the one putting myself in those situations, Candy. These things happen to innocent people all the time. It happens to innocent women in Sweden as well. And they can't defend themselves. They can't even carry pepper spray to defend themselves. So what are they supposed to do if they are alone? They're single, they're walking down an alley in the evening because they just came home from their job. What are they supposed to do to protect themselves from a perpetrator?
well, make sure that they have someone that meet them on the way home. Make sure that they take a safe bus. Like, you know,
that's not even safe anymore for that man. That's not even safe anymore. There have been cases where men who try to help women get accused of sexual assault, even though he was just trying to help her. That has happened, and that is the norm. In fact, in America, what you see is a lot of videos, for example, in the gym where women are lifting weights and it's too heavy for them to handle it, and they don't have a spotter or someone to help them remove the weight. And they're just stuck there because no one, especially the men, are trying to help her. They don't want to help her because they get recorded and they get put on the internet and labeled a creep, even though the man is doing nothing.
I think this is just like, this is what you think is normal because this is what you're seeing, but in real life, I don't think it is like that. This is the trend,
Candy.
I think I need to say, I think that you are spending too much time on the internet because in real life, it is not like this.
You know why I do?
Why?
Because I need to be aware as a man of the dangers of the internet. I need to see what's happening in the world to make sure I can do the best things and create the best possible plans to protect my potential family. That's what I need to do. It's not that I want to do it, it's that I have to do it. I have to be aware of what's happening in the world because the world is out to get everyone. It doesn't matter.
Oh, that's very, very sad and very incel take, I would say. But we're getting away from the topic now, chat. So,
is it?
Yeah, I feel like we're getting away from the topic a little bit. Yeah, I feel like it was more about like in the household. That's more about what I wanted to talk about. So,
okay.
Yeah, so I have a couple questions from what I sent you earlier. So how would you and your wife handle a disagreement?
Well, it depends on the disagreement, but ultimately, let's say we're disagreeing about something, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I make a final decision. I'm gonna say, okay, you know what? I'm gonna go with your idea. And I'm going to execute the decision. I'm going to make the decision and I'm going to go with your idea, the wife's idea. Oh. And let's say it's a bad decision. It yields negative results. Who do I blame? Do I blame her for it because it was her idea, or do I blame myself?
You blame yourself because you chose to go with her decision.
Exactly. Correct. I blame myself because I'm the one in charge, I'm the one in authority, and I'm the one who makes the final decision, whether it's with my idea or my wife's idea. It's still my decision. And since I'm the one in authority, I'm the one who's going to be held responsible. So I can't really point the finger.
It's very humble.
No, it's not about it being humble. It's about understanding that if you're going to be an authority, you need to have responsibility as well. Those two need to go hand in hand.
Okay, but if she really wants to buy a couch, for example, okay. or maybe she wants to order takeout, or how do you handle a disagreement like that?
I ask her, why do you want to do takeout? Do you just not really in the mood to cook tonight, or what?
Would you ask her that? Yeah.
Okay, let's say we get takeout. No problem.
Okay. Yeah. So you would.
Let's
So
say
it
some
feels like
days I say no, you're gonna cook because I want a homemade meal.
Okay. So it's always in the end. It's always about what you want.
Now it's not about what I want. I say ultimately it's still my decision to make. You may
Okay.
not like my decision, but the question is, can you still have the grace and patience and still submit to me, even though I may make a decision that you may not in the moment feel like it's a good decision? Can you still submit and obey? Can you still do that?
Obey. Okay. Are you gonna say those words to her often in a relationship? Like she's like, you're like, no, tonight we're going to eat at home. You're gonna cook me a meal. You need to obey me. Would you use those words?
Let's say I do. So
Well, it
what's
is
the actual
very. I feel
problem?
like it. No, that is, or I think it's very disrespectful to use those words.
Okay, well, what do you want me to say? Do you want me to be gentle about it? Because I really would like you to cook a very delicious homemade meal, baby. Wouldn't it be just delicious if you actually made the food yourself? I would
That
pay for all the
I would
ingredients.
say that is that word that everyone is using online. That sounds very. Oh, what's that word?
Misogynist,
No, not misogynist. That is very. That word.
sexist.
Sexist. No, man, that word. Patronizing. No, it just sounds manipulative a little bit. For
Don't women
gaslighting,
manipulate their men?
gaslighting. Yeah, that's what I'm. Yeah.
How is that gaslighting? Gaslighting is you lying to a woman about something that isn't actually
Okay, maybe I
true.
don't understand what it is, but that's like the word I was thinking about anyway.
Yeah,
Well,
but
okay, so
that's the
if you,
wrong word.
so you have a woman and
Okay.
oh yeah, and you know you're making the final decisions in everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You have authority, and she
Mm-hmm.
submits to you.
Yeah.
What do you believe that your wife gains from being in a marriage like that?
Well, she gets my protection. She gets my resources that I've accumulated over the years. And she basically gets anything that she could ask for. But then it also means that I'm going to have to put my foot down if push comes to shove. If she wants to do something and I'm not okay with that, I'm going to say, no, you're not going to do that.
Okay. Um. So okay. So, but I feel like, or I think that people get
Can I
this
ask you
anyway.
something?
I feel like a lot of women today's day and
I want to
age,
ask you
they get
something.
well they
Why do you
get these
think?
things. Well, they get these things, but they can still have an opinion of their own, you know.
Yeah, they can have their opinion. I don't mind their opinion. In fact, in the Bible, it's encouraged for husbands to ask for advice from their wives. It is encouraged.
Oh,
But he is not beholden to actually execute her advice. He's not beholden to it. He needs to be able to discern her ideas as well. He needs to do that. Because every time he wants to make a decision and she said, no, you should do this instead, he's like, okay, okay. When do you think uh, he should be able to say no?
wait, one more time, the last part. When
Okay, so let's say I'm gonna make a decision, okay,
mhm.
about
Mhm.
something. It could be
Mhm.
whatever. And my wife comes to me and she suggests, no, you should do this instead. No, you should do this instead. And I go with her ideas all the time because according to the Bible, I'm supposed to be able to take her advice because she's my wife. She's
Mhm.
supposed to advise me. And wise men take the advice of their wives. But at what point can I say no?
Yeah, that's a good question. Like,
Yeah,
what do
that's
you
my question
mean?
to you. What I mean is,
At what point can you say no?
when
Well,
can I say no?
I feel like you're always. It's good to always, you know, you tell people how you feel and what is your opinion. And like, for example, I would like to get takeout, and but you don't want. Like, it's good to say, but I feel like
Okay, then let me
I don't.
argue this then.
Yeah.
Let me argue this. Let's say I don't want to get takeout because I want a home cooked meal because it's more nutritious, it's more delicious, and it's cheaper if we buy in bulk, so we can have more meals compared to spending about 1/3 of the money on getting takeout instead. Let's have more home cooked meals, not just me, for you as well. Don't you think that's better?
Um. Well, okay. Would you ever cook a meal for your wife?
Sure.
Sure, you would, but it's like her. It's her. It's her.
Can't a man
assignment.
ask these days to have his wife cook for him? Can't a man just want a meal from his
Sure,
wife
sure, you
without
can
having
ask.
to
Yeah.
ask her to cook for him?
No, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You can ask that. That's
Okay,
fine.
great.
But I don't like the
In
fact that you
today's
say,
society, it is completely wrong because women are supposed to be equal to men, yet they still demand traditional treatment from their man. Do you think that's fair on the man?
There's nothing wrong with that, but you can't say that
There actually
I have
is, because
authority
there's a
over
massive
you.
double standard. There's a massive double standard. There's a massive double standard where women still can act as modern as they want, be loyal to no one, and still reap the benefits of traditional men.
Okay, but listen. Okay, if you're getting this wife, she seems perfect at first, but down
Sure.
the line, she is realizing you're being a little bit too dominant, or what's it called? A little bit too. You're having too high authority in this relationship. I want to have my own opinions, and like if you keep disagreeing with her on a topic, in the end, and she's like, "No, this is the way I want it." Like how, or I will leave, or something like that. Like how do you handle that so that you won't get hurt?
Okay, well, if there is such a massive dispute in the marriage where neither the husband nor the wife can actually agree on this, they are hell-bent on staying on this position and they won't budge. What you can do then is that you can go to the body of your church, you can go to the people there, you can present the question, or the dispute, I should say, and they can solve it for you. Now, it may be that she may be correct, but they would probably still have to say you would have to submit to your husband, even though you may be factually correct. But that doesn't mean that the husband can then all of a sudden disregard, because the husband, when he has the authority, this authority is it's not his own authority. This is authority Christ has bestowed him. It's not his own. He has borrowed it from Christ. Do you get it now? Because there's a hierarchy in Christianity on how authority is distributed, basically. So it's like a chain of command, like in the military, where you have a general, you have a sergeant, and then you have your soldiers. And it goes from top to the bottom. In Christianity, that's in principle the same thing, where God is the number one authority, then it's followed by the husband, then the wife, and then the children. So there's a chain of authority. So his authority is not really his own authority. It is the authority that Christ has given him because he represents the head. That's basically the principle. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people saying that, okay, the husband's going to have the all authority, which a lot of people think he's going to probably abuse his authority. The thing is, he can't abuse it. He can't abuse his authority
That's also in the
against
Bible?
his wife. Yeah, of course it is.
Okay. Yeah, and that's why you're saying that, yeah.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Can you give me a situation, Candy, where a man is married, a Christian man, he's married, and he abuses his authority against his wife? Okay, let's say that's the situation. He abuses his authority against his wife.
Yes.
Okay, can he get away with it without God watching him? Can he do it?
In which way do you mean abuse your authority? Like hitting
Let's
her
say
or something like
commands her
that?
to sin. Let's say he commands her to sin.
What does that mean, commander to sin? Like
Meaning, I'm gonna tell. Okay, let's say this. Let's say if I'm not present with you and you're at work, for example. Let's say my wife is working, and people ask about your husband. Okay, this is what you're gonna tell them. You're gonna tell them that my husband is super rich, even though he's not. He makes a shit ton of money and he drives a Corvette to work, even though that's not what he's doing.
Is that to lie is a sin? Is that what you mean?
Of course.
Okay.
Lying is a sin, Candy. You should know that.
Of course, yes. I don't lie.
Okay,
I have
let's
really
say
bad
he
poker
tells
face.
her. Let's say he tells her. He uses the authority to tell her, "You're gonna lie to people about me and make me look better than what I actually am." Is there a situation where he could do something like that and get away with it without God watching him?
No, I agree with you there. I don't think you can do that. I think God is gonna see that, of course, and that's bad.
Of course,
God,
that's bad.
karma, whatever you want to call it. It's bad. It's bad karma. Bad.
Yeah, that's karma, because there's accountability here. You can't have authority without responsibility. But these days, when people talk about the idea of authority, it has been twisted. It's something else, meaning people are in power and they are abusing said power and actually getting away with it. That's what they have been viewing authority. And I don't blame them for looking at it this way, but that's how it's been for the past few decades. I don't blame them, but that's not how it's supposed to be.
No.
So, is there a situation you could come up with where I, the husband, could abuse my authority against my wife and actually get away with it? Could you think of one?
Is there one?
That's my question to you. I can't think of one. Can you?
Oh no, but I mean, God is always watching. I think so.
Yeah, God is always
yeah.
watching. So the husband needs to be very careful in how he uses his authority. And there are a few caveats to this as well. That if the man is going to have the authority in the marriage,
Yeah.
he needs to do a few things. One, he can't command his wife to sin because that goes against Christian ethics. Number two, he needs to submit to Christ. That's number two. That's the most important one.
Okay, well,
Because
okay, so wait, I have a question. Okay, I have two questions first. And
yeah,
then
but
a
let me
third.
finish. So before you ask your question, so I can actually explain it all. So if the husband is going to have all of this authority, he needs to submit himself, because that means he is submitting to a higher power, a power that's going to hold him accountable for all eternity when Judgment Day comes. So he needs to be careful in how he deals with this. But as long as his authority does not encourage sin, it doesn't break Christian ethics, and it comports with reason, he can use his authority.
Well,
Now, what's your question?
I don't think it's bad. I think it's great with traditional gender roles, and to have, if the woman wants, it's great to have a man who is a leader. And you know, I don't think you are, well, it's in a couple points, yes, it's crazy what you're saying, but in a couple points I agree with you, yes. No, I was just thinking a little bit, like, just overall, like, what if there's two men in a relationship?
What do you mean, like in a marriage?
Yeah, if there's two men who's married, who is the one with authority?
Beats me.
It's you.
The one. Why would I? I'm not getting married to a man.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought you said it's me. I thought you just came out to us.
Beats me. Beats me. BEATS.
Okay, beats me. Okay. Okay. So you don't want to see that too, or you don't.
Well, the thing is, that's not really a marriage in my eyes, because a key part of marriage is being able to have children, and two men can't do that. Two men can't have sex with each other and one of them gets pregnant, even though one may be in the submissive role and the other one in the dominant role. No matter how much they do it, the submissive one's not going to get pregnant. This is the same case with two women. If you have a dominant woman who's the authority in the marriage, no matter how much she does it with her wife, they're not going to get pregnant. It's not going to happen. This is only possible with the union between a man and a woman.
Okay, but some straight couples can't have kids either.
That's true, but here's the key difference. Here's the key difference. Women can, they are, how do I explain this? The definition of woman is a woman who has the natural and potential capacity to carry and give birth to children. She may not be able to get pregnant, so her potential is gone, but her body is still naturally capable of doing it, because that's what she's biologically designed to do. So there are some women that can get pregnant, but they still have the natural capacity to do so. Maybe they do artificial insemination.
Oh yeah.
Or they could adopt as well. They could do that.
Or they don't, or they might just not want. They might not just want have children.
Well, here's the thing. That is a new thing that has become more recent due to the rise of secularism. Because now, these days, women are able to be on birth control, where they may take hormonal birth control, or they get an IUD, or the man uses condoms as well. All of those options are available. And what they're doing, like I said in my opening statement, they are having what's called sterile sex, which is sex which is only for pleasure and not for reproduction.
Do you think it's a sin to be on birth control? Or just to have sex on birth control?
That is a good question. Honestly, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like it's a little bit. Of course, I think like there's with birth control. You might not know this because maybe you don't have much experience with women, but when women are on birth control, there is a lot of repercussions, side effects of being on birth control, and I just feel like I think that might be, a sign that it's, for example, I think that could be a sign that it's bad.
Wait, can you please repeat that? I couldn't hear you. Could you repeat
No,
that, please?
I was just saying that like on when women are on birth controls, there is a lot of repercussions, side effects, a lot of side effects from that.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
I'm just
that is
saying
true.
that that might be a sign, you're not really meant to put these hormones in you, maybe.
Do you then think that birth control are a problem in society, given the
Yeah,
fact that
no.
women are intentionally changing their body hormonally to where
Yeah,
if they were to go off birth control, they might not find their man attractive anymore?
yeah, I 100% agree with that, but I don't think that we think about it the same way. Like, I think about it more on a I don't know, chemical level. There's other ways that is way better to avoid. There's other ways that is way better to avoid having children. Like if you
Yeah,
track
I
your
know one that's really
cycle
good. It's
and stuff like that.
100%
Yeah,
effective, Candy. Do you know what that is?
not have sex also. Yes.
Yeah, abstinence.
Yeah.
Abstinence is quite good.
Yeah.
Is in
Okay, but
fact the
also
most
you can,
effective because
if
no
you
woman
want to.
alive today is gonna get pregnant like Virgin Mary. That's not
Yeah.
gonna happen.
No, but I agree with you. Maybe I feel maybe I wouldn't have agreed with myself if I was 22. Maybe I wouldn't have agreed with this. But right now, I feel like you should not have sex with anyone that you where you can't imagine having their children. And
Yeah,
you shouldn't
I
be on
agree.
birth control because birth control is really, really bad for you. There's other ways that you can track your cycle and you don't have to be on birth control. But you still shouldn't be with someone who you couldn't imagine having their kids.
Yeah, I agree completely.
Yeah.
If you can't imagine your children being like the man you love, you shouldn't be with them.
Yeah.
I agree with you completely. And I think this is a massive problem in today's society because these days, with hookup culture and all, men view women mainly as sexual objects, especially in relationships where they want to have sex out of wedlock. And it's much more possible to do so because of the fact that we have things like abortion and we have birth control as well. That's a bad thing, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, I agree with
If
you
women
there.
want to
And this
be,
might be very controversial, but like I
be
think
controversial, Candy.
yeah,
Fuck the
no,
meta,
it is.
as they
But
say.
I've said a couple times, but like it's very, very sad. Abortion and the abortion rates is very, very sad, and I wish that instead
Yeah,
of
you know how many
having
annually are happening in Sweden?
a lot,
30,000 on average.
Yeah, it's so sad with abortions. So sad with abortion. It's horrible. Like I can't believe it. Like well, the thing is like so there's difference between. Of course, we need to allow abortions for the reasons, but I wish people were more educated on how not to get pregnant. And now someone is going to say, "What if she's sexually assaulted?" Yeah, I don't. Those are the exceptions, of course. If you're recklessly having sex with someone when you're when you're 19 at a party and then you get pregnant, yeah, it's
that was irresponsible of you.
Super irresponsible, right?
Yeah. Whose fault was that then? Was that the man's fault or the woman's fault?
Both. It's both's fault. Both.
Who's at fault mainly?
But both. It's both. Who do you
I
think?
would say it's the woman's fault.
Oh, really? Why?
Yeah. Because she's the one who decided to open her legs for the man. He may have agreed to have sex with her, but ultimately the responsibility falls in her hands because she's the gatekeeper to sex. Women are the gatekeepers to sex in today's society. Women decide whom they allow men to have sex with.
No.
Isn't that correct? Yes.
That's not correct. No, that's not correct.
Yes.
If
you're in a relationship, women are the gatekeepers. Do you know what that means?
Well, I think that men are the gatekeepers too. A woman could want to have sex with a man and he could say no too.
That's true. But mostly men want to have sex. But women are still can still say no because ultimately they decide which men have sex with them. They are the one who are the real gatekeepers. Men can also say no to them, but the amount of times it happens where men ask women for sex relative to women asking men for sex, it's way lenient towards men asking women for sex more than the other way. And women are also inclined to say no. And if she says no, he's not going to have sex with her. Now, I'm not condoning he could force himself on her. I don't agree with that at all.
That's not good. Thank you for telling us that.
Oh, you're so welcome. But if he forces himself on her, according to the Bible, I think this is correct. Let me look it up.
If she okay, well, yeah, he's just gonna tell us now what happens if he assaults her for sex. Okay, when you have this, we're gonna move on with another question.
Okay, let's see. Yes, the Bible addresses this in Deuteronomy 22, chapter 22, verse 25 to 27. According to this passage, if a man rapes a woman who is engaged to be married in an open field where she cannot call for help, that man is to be put to death.
Oh, that's great.
The law treats this crime as the equivalent of murder. Now, let me ask you this, Candy.
Why have we never heard about that before?
Well, maybe because your church doesn't teach this stuff. In my opinion, the Protestant church has lost its meaning altogether. It's the reason why so many Swedes today and around the world are leaving the Protestant church and seeking out both the Catholic and Orthodox church. And I can give you witness testimony to this. In my church, the one I go to, we have an ethnic Swedish woman who not only partakes in our liturgy, she also studies the Syriac language with us so that she can become a Syriac Orthodox Christian.
Oh,
now that is mind-blowing. To think that a ethnic Swedish woman such as yourself is coming to my church, the church of from a Middle East, where they speak a completely different language, have a completely different liturgy and theology as well. That is mind-blowing.
Is she single or is she with someone in there?
No, she's married. She's married. She's married in her older years.
Yeah, of course, there's going to be exceptions like that, of course.
Yeah, but here's the thing. This is happening in the thousands. People are abandoning the Swedish church because no one can take them serious anymore.
I don't think people are abandoning the Swedish church.
Yes, they are, because no one takes them seriously anymore.
I do think that the Swedish church is like very, very open and welcoming to everyone. And
yeah, but
not only do they welcome people who, like, they welcome anyone in any religion, but they welcome everyone who does not have faith either, or who is maybe curious. Like they welcome
it's
everyone.
one thing to be curious and want to become better, but the problem is if you invite evil to the church, it's going to get corrupted. Point take. Here's the point. The reason the Swedish church is getting abandoned because it's become politicized. They have adopted politics to where they are now abandoning the actual meaning of and the word of Christ. So people don't want that. They don't want to see politics, but Swedish church has adopted it. And proof of that, they hang the LGBT flag everywhere in their churches. That is a political movement.
What do you think it's bad to hang the LGBT?
Because it encourages degeneracy.
Degeneracy?
Let me ask it. Yeah,
what do you mean?
Let me ask you that. Well, let's put it like this. The whole idea behind the Pride movement is that I want to be with whomever I want to be, and it's none of anyone's business. And what I do in my private bedroom with my significant other is no one's business.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree with that?
It's 2026. I think that a lot.
No. Like, just answer the question. Say yes or no.
Sexualized. No, well, that's no. I don't agree with that. I think that
you don't think that your private life should be private.
Well, I think it's to each their own if they want to talk about it. I think like you can invite other people, you can have open relationships, you can.
Yeah, and what if they start saying you shouldn't do that?
Who says that or what? No.
Doesn't matter if you're inviting people, so they know about your private life, and they all start saying you shouldn't do that. Are you gonna take the word for it? Because all of a sudden you are now open the gates for criticisms and objection. Are you gonna listen to those people? Or are you going to tell them it's none of your business what I do in the private life? But it's no longer private because you decided to open it to everyone now.
Well, I've talked a lot about sex on stream and stuff. I don't think it's wrong. I think that you can do that.
Yeah, but you don't talk about your private life with the viewers, do you?
No, I try to stay away from doing that, but I'm bad at staying away from it. But yeah.
Yeah, but here's the thing. a lot of people are not like you. They open their private life to their public life, especially about what they do in the bedroom. And if you're gonna take your your life in the bedroom to the public life, people are gonna have words, and they're gonna disagree, and they're probably gonna tell you you shouldn't do that. Do you think then those people are gonna listen to what the people have to say?
No, you can. I mean, I can. Someone can say maybe I like to have butt sex, and I will say that's disgusting, and then we
Yeah,
can agree to disagree. It's just like that. That it's simple as
yeah,
that.
but what if everyone says you shouldn't do that?
No, no one can say you shouldn't do that. I was like, okay, you do that if you want to.
Yeah, but you're misunderstanding me. If you're gonna take your private life to the public life, people are gonna have things to say. And what if everyone disagrees on the way you live your life? Are you gonna continue to do it because they think it's degenerate? Or are you gonna say it's none of your business what I do in my private life, despite the fact that you decided to tell everyone what it is that you do in your private life? That was the whole idea behind the Pride movement, is that I want to love whomever, and I also want to do it within the privacy of my own bedroom. You don't need to know what it is I'm doing with my significant other, because that's my business and my partner's business.
Do you
That's
think it's
it.
fine? Do you think it's fine for two men to be in a marriage?
I don't recognize that as a marriage to begin with.
Okay, okay, sure. Well, I mean, I think that there is, you know, how a couple years ago a woman couldn't vote,
Okay.
and still to this day, some some
Wait, when you say a couple of
churches.
years ago, how many years ago?
Well, I don't know how many years ago. You probably know how many years ago. A couple years ago, a woman
Okay,
couldn't
you
vote.
meaning having
Oh,
the
well,
right to vote.
still to this day, there is churches who will not marry two men. And honestly, I want
Yeah.
to say one thing. I think it's
Okay.
up to the priest. I think it's up to the priest. If a priest doesn't want to marry two men, sure, he doesn't have to do that. I think.
Okay.
But I feel like it's important. Like maybe it's an old, you know, you can't teach an old man or old dog to sit, you know. But I think it's very
What if we
important.
get a new dog
No,
and
listen,
the dog says no?
Listen, the reason that pride exists, and also I'm not very into it, but I'm just gonna say, like, the reason I think it's good that pride exists is because there's still a lot to learn about it, and everyone needs to.
Like
I
what?
think there's a lot of people who need to learn. Well, just learn to accept that everyone is different and that some people
Yeah, but here's the
want to
problem with
marry a
that.
same-sex
There are a
person.
few people who think the way you do, where they want to be with a person of their own that share the same sex, and they want to keep their private life private. Problem with this, the Pride movement has also been hijacked by a bunch of degenerates who aren't really gay or bisexual or trans or queer or what have you. They are just a bunch of degenerates who are hiding under the umbrella of the Pride so that they can do whatever they want without being criticized. Don't you think
Yeah,
that
I
is a
mean, I
problem?
think we should criticize individuals and not groups of people.
There are
And then
entire
we can,
groups that do this, Candy.
yeah, the blue-haired
But the
ones
problem
with
is
armpit hair.
there are
Yeah.
very few people within the LGBT community that holds them accountable for what they do. Very few people are holding them accountable.
Well, and no one wants to hold them accountable because they're crazy. So if you start arguing
It's
with
not
them,
just about being crazy. It's about mob rule. That if you go against the grain, people are going to try to calm you down, so you go with the grain. So my opinions, the ones that I have shared today, the ones that I hold true, come from the Bible. How many people these days actually follow the Bible to a T and adopt this dynamic of husband being authority and women being a submissive position? Whereas in these days, wait, where women are supposed to be equal to men, where it comes to political equality, social equality, economic equality. If women are going to be equals, how can they then demand that men be traditional and still protect them? If they're not gonna provide the traditional reciprocity, how are they going to do that?
Okay, let me just tell you one thing. No one should be reading the Bible to a T. It's up for interpretation. It's like a guideline. It's not something that you can follow from a T. There's so many different ways of like reading it and analyzing, like applying it to your life. You know.
So who should we then listen to when it comes to the Bible? If it's up to everyone's interpretation, let's say I have an interpretation of something and you have a different one, okay? But it's about the exact same thing. Like, let's say it's about the verses I read earlier. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. We
And
can
if a
agree.
person, yeah, let's say we have two different interpretations about the exact same thing, and a
Mhm.
person comes to the both of us and asks, what is the correct interpretation? Who's going to be right, you or me?
We're
If there
both
is no
right in our
objective,
own ways. I think
both
that
can't
we
be
need to.
right.
Yes,
Both
we
cannot
can.
be
We
right at the
can.
same. No, we
We
can't.
can agree to disagree. We can.
No, we can't.
Yep. We have to be able to agree to disagree. Aren't you gonna agree
If
to
the
disagree
Bible
with your
would
wife?
say Christ is Lord and you disagree with that, and that is your interpretation, but I have that interpretation, who would be right in this scenario if someone were to come and ask us? How would that even work? We can't just agree to disagree because we're talking about the Word of God.
Well, it is up to interpretation, I'm just saying, and I think that we can disagree.
It can't be up to interpretation because if everyone has had the exact same interpretation till now, that means somewhere along the line it got
I
lost,
don't think
perhaps even
anyone has ever.
intentionally.
I don't think people have always had the same.
Our church has had the exact same interpretations. In fact, we have a lot of church fathers that have read about it and given their share of knowledge about what they think about the Bible.
Okay, let
They've
me ask
had
you a
there,
question
and
now.
most of
Let
them
me
have
ask you a
agreed.
question now. Okay. Do you believe that men and women are equal in worth and value?
In front of God, you mean?
In front of everything,
Like,
like
are
in a
they of equal
relationship,
value in the eyes of
equal.
God?
No, in a relationship more. We're back to the relationship in a marriage.
How are they
Is
equal? What do
men
you
and
mean by
women
equal?
equal in worth? Like are a man and a woman, are they worth? Do they have the same worth and do they have the same value?
Yeah, of course they do.
They
But
do.
you're interpreting value as in she's equal to him she's equal to him in terms of roles. Those are different things. Because if you're gonna have different roles than I am gonna have, we're still gonna be we're still gonna be of the same value in the eyes of God. Still gonna be the same. But it doesn't change the roles the husband has and the wife has. That doesn't change.
So
And the
so you
reason
do
why,
think you're equal in value and worth, but
of course,
you still think that you have higher authority than her.
yeah, that's going to be the case regardless, because not only does the Bible say that, she's going to want that from me as well. She's going to want me to lead because she will understand her roles in the marriage and she knows what she's going to expect from me as well. In fact, before you even get married, what we do in our church is what's called it's like counseling. I forgot what it's called, but it's basically like counseling for the couple that are trying to get married, where the priest discusses, do the two of you actually understand what it actually means to be married? Does the two of you actually understand the roles you're going to enter to within this marriage? Do you understand all of that? What can you do? What do you have currently? What do you need to work on? The church deals with all of that stuff all that time, because these days you can just get married all willy-nilly. But in my opinion, it shouldn't be that way, because in today's day and age, marriage has lost all of its meaning. It has lost all of its meaning because everyone can just enter into any marriage at any point in their time, assuming they're consenting. Let's say they're 18 and above. Okay, they can consent to whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
They can enter into a marriage and then they can just exit the marriage if they just feel like it. Does that sound okay to you?
Yes,
Why?
absolutely. What? Well,
How?
domestic violence, like
Let's say there is no
physical
domestic
verbal
violence.
violence. Like, yes, people should be able to leave a relationship. Yeah.
Whenever they want, even though there's no fault in the marriage whatsoever.
What? Okay. Well, if she for some reason she just gets a feeling, I need to leave
Okay.
this man, or she falls in love with someone else. Yeah, she needs to be
Yeah,
able to
but do you
leave.
think that's fair on the guy who has devoted all of his time, his energy, his resources towards his wife who's supposed to be loyal to him? Do you think
Yep.
that's fair on the guy?
Yeah, I think it's fair to the guy to tell him I don't have feelings
That's
for
not
you
fair,
anymore. I need
Candy.
to leave. Well, but I in today, yeah, I think into that's what we're disagreeing, because in today's day and age, like a lot of women,
Yeah, but
you
do
know,
you see the problem with
there's
that?
a lot of fish in the sea. You know, maybe there's a better man out there, and then she needs to be honest about that and leave. You
Yeah,
know?
but the problem is you're not gonna get any younger. So if you're gonna, let's say you get married in your 20s,
Yeah.
okay, let's say you're 25, you get married and you get divorce 10 years later because you're no longer happy. You want to go out there, you want to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Do you think any man worth their salt is going to take that woman seriously when it comes to
Yes.
relationship? No, hang on.
Yes.
Let me finish. Don't say yes all willy-nilly. That's bad.
Well, yes.
Do you think any man is going to take that woman seriously if he looks at her relationship history where she was married for 10 years?
Yeah.
She decided out of nowhere she's going to divorce him because she's suddenly not feeling butterflies anymore. Even though the man was faithful to her, he devoted all of his time, his energy, his resources, all of that. Do you think any man is going to take her seriously when it comes to relationships, let alone marriage?
Well, my sister had a divorce after
hold on, stop.
years.
Wait,
my sister had a divorce after 8 years.
Stop.
She
Candy,
had
stop.
two
Stop.
children with him. Wait,
Candy,
no, don't stop.
stop.
No, don't stop.
I don't want to talk about
now
your
she
sister's
has-
marriage.
No, now she got the divorce. She had 2 kids with him. And what do you mean? Why don't you want to talk about it? And now she is happily in a relationship with a new man.
I want to talk about it, but I don't want to talk about your sister's marriage in specific.
Well, but that's what my life what's it called? My experiences. Like my sister, she has a new man. She has a new baby with the new man. Like it's great for her. Like, and it was right to leave in that situation, you know?
What made it right?
What made it right? Okay, she was unhappy in her marriage.
Yeah, but what led to that?
And also you were asking if any man is going to take her seriously. Yes. Her new man respects her.
What a foolish guy.
Maybe more than the other man did. Like I love the other man though. I miss him.
Wait, did he take your sister's ex-husband, did he take her for granted?
Yeah, well, we shouldn't go into details, but yeah, a little bit.
No. You're gonna go into details because you mentioned it when I told you I didn't want to talk about it.
Well, okay,
I told you from the start I didn't want to talk about it.
That's what basically the reason. Like, yeah, he was taking her for granted and everything. She was, he was working a lot, so that was basically the.
He was working a lot, meaning he was earning a lot of money.
Yeah, he was earning
and not spending time with his family.
Yeah.
Okay, so he tried to provide for her. Is that a problem?
Yeah, it's a problem. So we think generally, like it's a problem when a man is working a lot.
But women still want their man to provide for them.
No, the woman says, "I would like you to make less money and spend more time with us. We have it good, And if he still wants to prioritize going to work and making money, then eventually it's gonna lead to a divorce."
So wait, he was basically. I want to make sure I understand this correctly. He was working too much.
Yeah.
And because of the fact that he was working too much trying to provide, I don't know if he was, but he was basically working so much because he just wanted to earn money and completely disregard his family. Am I getting that correct?
Yeah, but it's not that, not that serious. It was to the point where she wanted to divorce him and they're having a lot of arguments and stuff. But he was he was a great man still. There's nothing wrong with him. He's a great man.
So he still got screwed over, even though you're saying he's a great man, and he still got screwed over. If that's gonna be the case,
well, your original question was if any other man is gonna take you serious. Yes, and I promise you, there's way more situations like this. My sister is a great woman, and any man would be a fool not to be with her. Yeah, she's a very great woman. So any man
a great woman wouldn't divorce her husband because he was working too much, because he was trying to provide for her.
Well, it's not because he was working too much.
Wait, stop.
Because he did not.
He was trying to fulfill his duties.
No, because
I was talking, Kenny. I'm responding to you. I'm responding.
Well, you're getting it wrong. You're getting it wrong. Not because he was working too much, because he didn't listen when she said you need to work less.
Okay, so let's say he wants to work more so he can provide for his family.
Yeah, but they didn't need that much money.
They didn't need that much. Okay, they could donate the money then. They could donate the money.
Yeah, but then he's not working to provide for his family, then he's working for charity.
So either situation, he's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. So what is he supposed to do then?
Well, he should work less and spend more time with the family. That's what he should have done.
He's going to get screwed in that situation as well. If he's working less now, all of a sudden he's not providing enough. But when he's working too much, he's now
No,
not spending enough
no
time
one
with
said that
family.
he's work. Trust me, in North Sweden, they don't barely need a job to survive. So,
What do you want me to say? I don't know how they do it in North Sweden.
well, I mean, it's you don't need much income to survive. You know, you don't, he was, they were both of them. You know, could provide. It was not, you know, you don't. There's not like down here.
Yeah,
He
well,
didn't need to work. He didn't need to work like 12 hours a day and do extra shifts and stuff like that. You know.
well, you know what? Let's take this example because I think it's a good one, where you have a man who's working too much and he's not devoting enough time with his wife. You think
Mm-hmm.
there's a reason for that? Maybe he just finds his wife unpleasant to be around. What if he feels that way, but he can't express it because it would be viewed as misogynist?
Okay. Yeah. Maybe they should get a divorce then because he finds his wife
Or
unpleasant to be
maybe,
around.
just maybe, they shouldn't get married in the first place.
Well, how are you gonna know? How are you gonna know?
Oh, I don't know. You would have your father vet the guy before they would get married, like they used to do in the old days, where if your daughter were to meet a man and she would introduce him to her parents and they would have dinner, the father would vet the guy to make sure that he's actually eligible to take care of his daughter in marriage.
Okay, maybe in your culture, like that doesn't happen in Sweden though. And you
Yeah,
live in
it used
Sweden,
to
so
happen in Sweden, though. It used to happen. We
well,
don't do that anymore.
very
What
long
we
time
do,
ago.
yeah, I know, but these days, what we do is that we vet the persons ourselves by cohabitating to see if we're compatible. Don't we do that?
Wait, one more time.
So, back in the old days,
Mhm.
the father would vet the man that would be interested in his daughter's hand in marriage. He would make sure that this guy is someone maybe they knew, maybe he came from a nice family, that he had a good job, and that he knew how to protect his future wife. So that he would actually be eligible. Han skulle vara, vad fan är ordet? Berättigat. He would be eligible to
Yeah.
marry this woman.
But you're never gonna
Okay.
know, like either, like maybe you all click really well in the beginning, and at the
Okay.
end, maybe the man is like he finds his wife unbearable. Like if in down the line you get it, you find someone now, you really fall head over heels for her, and you get married, and you have children, and
Right.
then 5 years later you find her unbearable. What are you
Okay.
gonna do then? What are you gonna do?
Well, here's the thing. If you're the husband and you're married to her, you need to figure out what is going on. Because if she's becoming unbearable, you need to figure out what happened in the first place. Because that is still your responsibility. Your wife is your responsibility. If she becomes unbearable, but this happens across a time period, you need to figure out what happened that made her unbearable to be with in the first place. She didn't become unbearable like that. That doesn't happen. She doesn't just snap her fingers and then becomes irrational. That doesn't happen. So he needs to figure out what happened. He needs to sit down, talk to her. He needs to say, look, you're being unbearable. I can't stand being with you. What is going on? Why are you this way? Maybe it's
Maybe
on
she
his,
says,
maybe it's on his part.
I want to have an open relationship. I'm horny. Maybe she says that. What would you say then?
I would say no.
You would say no. Okay.
Yeah, because being married means you're monogamous. It's a monogamous relationship. So both of you have chosen to be in a monogamous relationship with each other.
Okay.
And
but
in
if
fact,
you're now,
wait. I can actually give you some Bible verses on this as well.
no, we don't want to hear it
Because
anymore. No, that's fine. We don't need
why?
to hear it. But just no, you can explain instead. So now you're in this situation, like you're together with a woman, you find her unbearable, and she really wants to be with another man. And she says, okay, we should get divorced. It's Sweden. It's 2026. Well, in 5 years, 2031. And then she wants to get a divorce.
Okay.
Would you never have a divorce? So how would this end then? Like maybe she will take her bag and run away,
well,
you know.
Here's the thing. Marriage is not that simple. It looks that simple because we see people being happy in a relationship while they're in public, but they could be completely miserable when they're in private quarters. It could be that case, and they're just putting a facade for everyone to see. That could be the case. But the problem is we are taking marriage way less seriously than we used to, because marriage meant that you would be with your wife and she would be with her husband through thick and thin, in sickness and in health, till death do you part. Meaning if it become that unbearable to be with, you would figure it out. You would sit down, you would talk. It may take a year, it may take 10 years, but you would sit down and talk to each other about it. And if you still have such a big dispute where she's actually unbearable, you would go to your priest and talk to him about it.
You know
would
what?
talk to him
You know what? I like this. I like this though, because I like what you're saying here. I think it's very reasonable, actually.
Well, can I finish?
Okay, sure.
So you would go to your priest and he would give you solutions on how to deal with this. Maybe she needs to get her shit together and she needs to do what she's supposed to do. Maybe he also needs to get his shit together and do what he's supposed to do. But you would still sit down and talk about it. And if you still can't figure it out, you would have a body, you would have a church body to go to and talk to people about it. But the difference is, in these days, people don't do that. People don't do that.
People just give up, and I think it's very sad.
Yeah, they give up.
In relationships where you have children, it's very sad, and you know, I feel like more people are divorced than they're not in today's day and age. Like everybody is getting a divorce, or just
but do you think that's a good thing? Do you think that's a good thing?
No, it's a bad
because
thing. I agree with you here. It would be good.
This disincentivizes marriage in general. And if men don't have something to protect and provide for, why should they then protect the women in their society? So this is still massively detrimental to women as well.
Maybe one reason that marriages aren't lasting, maybe one reason is because a woman in today's day and age is very independent and can take care of herself, and that's and then a man is trying to be the boss, but she wants to be the boss, you know. And maybe because they disagree too much, eventually they break up.
Yeah, I agree. Perhaps that is the case. And since you asked me if I would date or marry someone who thinks that they are independent, I wouldn't. I would want my wife to be depending on me, just like how I would depend on her as well. Marriage is supposed to be a symbiotic relationship, not a parasitic one.
People do change, though.
People do change, but that doesn't mean that the marriage should end. If a woman all of a sudden wants to have an open marriage, this means that the husband would probably also want an open marriage, and it may be more beneficial to him because he's now actually going out getting laid and completely ignoring her now and her needs. Because at some point she's going to get burned out with having the same man, and that guy may even ditch her as well. So she could then still revert back to her husband, but he's no longer interested in her because he's found another woman to be with, someone who finds him pleasant to be around with, someone who he actually enjoys hanging around with. So now the woman is in a spot where she's lost her husband and the guy she was wanting to have sex with outside of the marriage. So she's still getting screwed over here. And he doesn't care about it because the marriage is now open, and she may want to close it now because she knows that her husband is getting some action on the side and he doesn't care about her at all.
But would this even be a situation in your relationship? Like,
no, it wouldn't. Yeah. That would never, ever. I would never, ever consider that, because that would be adultery one-on-one. That would be cheating one-on-one. I don't want that at all. If I'm going to get married, she needs to understand I'm going to be her only man ever. And if she doesn't want that, she doesn't have to, then we don't get married at all. We go our separate ways. That's it.
Okay. Well, I have a question now. So if your wife, well, he doesn't, I'm just going to clarify, Mr. Marcella does not have a wife. This is hypothetical. But if your wife has more knowledge and more competence in a certain area, like, for example, maybe like flowers or interior design or anything like that. It could be manly stuff too, I guess. Maybe she knows how to build a crib and you don't. But I mean, why should she not have authority for the final decision in one of those areas?
Well, the thing is, she could have that, absolutely. And here's the funny thing. Let's say I was married and we're going to decorate our home, but I know nothing about it. Okay, I tell my wife, then, listen, honey, if you know about this stuff, hang on. My apologies for that interruption, chat. My mom came in and I don't want you to see him. Anyways, let's say I know nothing about interior design whatsoever. Okay, and I tell my wife, honey, I'm going to give you authority. You can make whatever decisions you want regarding this because you know more than stuff to me. You know more about this stuff than I do. So I'm going to leave you in charge of it. Okay?
Okay.
It may still happen.
So it's basically, by the way, so it's basically you decide that she can decide, and if she fucks up, it's your fault.
No, it's still her fault.
What you said earlier, that because you gave her the authority, it's your fault if she fucks up.
And if she has the authority, who has the responsibility? She does. But here's the thing. I'm not going to argue with her because she could be an authority in decorating the home, doing the interior design whatsoever, and she could still come to me and ask for advice. And if she does, she can take my advice, or she can choose not to take the advice. It's up to her. But she would be in charge of it. But that doesn't disregard the fact that I'm still the head of the household. So she may still decide to do all of those things because she may be better than me at it. That's fine. But that does not place her in as the head of the authority in the household. That's still my area. That's my role. Okay. So she would still be in charge, but she would get the authority from me as well. That's how the Christian marriage works. Most people don't realize this because it's not taught these days. It's not taught.
Would you still like make the final decision though? Would you be the one who made the final decision? Always.
Ultimately, by technicality, yes, but I could also go with her decision. It wouldn't matter. Like she would still make those decisions because she knows better than me. And she knows, why should I not let her make that decision? I could still make the decision for her. And she says, honey, I have made all of the work. This is how I think it's going to look like. What do you think? I say, looks pretty good. Let's do it. And I take care of the bill. I pay for everything. I set everything up. That's all fine and dandy.
Oh wait, this is a very smart question where Spiegel has. So what if, mashallah, what if something happens to you and maybe you get in a car accident and you're married and now your woman has to go out and provide for you, and she's the one who makes money and she takes care of the household and she needs to protect you because you're not capable of doing that, you're crippled. Like, is she now the authority in the relationship?
No, she wouldn't be. I would still be an authority because that doesn't displace my role as the husband. Even though I would be in accident.
You can't protect her, you can't work.
Let's say I'm an American, I got a gun.
Well, maybe you're not fast enough to get to your gun because you're crippled. Maybe you're fully paralyzed, whatever.
Well, but here's the thing. Marriage still, or when you take your vows when you're getting married, it still says, in sickness and in health, till death do you part. If those words don't mean anything to you, and they're just something you say to get the ceremony done, I don't think you should get married at all.
Okay,
because if you're not willing to have that kind of responsibility to live with.
Yeah, I am not saying I will let my man have authority over me in any situation. Like, what if you can't provide? Like you're saying, because you can provide, because you can protect your woman. That's the reason why you should have authority. But what if the roles are reversed and she is the one who provides and protects the family? Is it still you who have the final say?
Yes.
Because you're a man, just because you're a man.
No, because I'm the husband, not the man. You got to remember, we're using two different terms. Man is simply a person who is not married. Husband is a man who is married. Those are two distinct terms. But these days, we don't view them as different. In the olden days, they used to be different because it meant a different thing to be a husband. But in a secular society, but here's the thing. In a secular society, one can't really consider themselves a husband or a wife because it has no genuine meaning anymore. If everyone does whatever they want, the husband can disregard his duties towards his wife, and the wife can also do the same thing, and then they can just get a divorce all willy-nilly. That doesn't sound like a marriage to me.
No, it's actually, I mean, that is sad. It is sad that a lot of people are getting divorced and stuff, and I think it's due to that we have so many options, and everyone, we always think.
Yeah, but do you think that's a good thing that we can do all of that just because we want to do it, even though it's not the right thing to do, because you're essentially screwing over your spouse?
But I just want to say one thing. I was comparing being a woman to being crippled. I'm not like, that's not what it's like to be a woman.
Let me ask you this then: if the roles were reversed, If the
Yeah.
roles were reversed and the woman got into a car accident, could the
Mhm.
husband then just divorce her because of the fact that she can't perform her roles anymore in the marriage?
Yeah, what's your opinion on that? Yeah.
He shouldn't be able to divorce her because it's sickness and in health, for better or for worse, till death do you
Okay, so
part.
your woman is now, maybe she's
Let's say
just
it's crippled.
depressed and she doesn't want to, maybe she's just depressed and she doesn't want to cook. Like what in that situation, like what would you take care of her and cook for her?
Like she can't cook, or
Yeah.
she's just depressed and doesn't really want to cook.
She's depressed and she physically can't get out of bed.
Okay. Well, of course, I'm gonna take care of her and cook for her and do those things to her, because even though I'm the head and I make the final say, that doesn't, it doesn't, how do you say? It doesn't rescind my duties that I have towards my wife. Because remember, the Bible said, submit to one another out of reverence for Christ. So if she actually can't do it and she's genuinely that depressed, of course I would take care of her. Of course I would provide for her. Of course I would cook for her as well. But then we also need to figure out what is going on. Why is she depressed? Because you don't just get depressed like
Yeah,
that.
that's very sweet that you're saying that. I don't think that there's a lot of men who actually considers mental issues. It's different with physical issues.
Yeah,
I
well,
think.
consider men's mental issues and what they're going through in life. Like you mentioned your sister's ex-husband.
Yeah.
Did he ever mention to her the things he was going through, what he had to think of all the time, and so on and so forth?
No, I don't know what they were talking about in private, but
Okay, that's fair. I don't expect you. You don't have to mention what they were talking.
no,
Maybe
I
he
don't know.
didn't mention, but men's mental health often aren't considered into the equation as well. That's unfortunate because most men think, "Am
It's
I
funny.
doing enough? Can I provide for it?"
I'm talking about women's mental health, and you're bringing up men's mental health. Sounds like a
Well,
man.
both sounds like a man, yeah. But here's the thing: do you want a traditional man or do you want a modern man? That's the $1 million question women need to ask themselves these days. That's what they need to ask themselves, because if they're gonna want traditional treatment, they better be ready to reciprocate it with traditional roles, that they do what they are supposed to do within a marriage. Because I don't think a secular marriage is actually a thing. Because you can just go to the state, they declare you married, and then you just go, yippee, we're married, when it doesn't really mean anything anymore. Because
Yeah,
it's not, it's more of a title to get married these days, more than what it actually means and what the purpose of marriage actually is.
yeah. But can I say one thing? I actually think this discussion have made me realize that you're right. Maybe a woman should submit a little bit more if her man is very have a lot of authority. If her man has a lot of authority, maybe it's good that the woman submits a little bit more, because otherwise there's going to be endless of discussions, endless of fights. It's in a relationship, it's probably good that there is one authority and one more submissive person. But in today's day and
Yeah,
age,
but do
I
you know
feel
why
like,
that's really important as well? Because there needs to be a tiebreaker as well. There needs to be a tiebreaker in the marriage where someone makes the final decision. There has to be
so that
one.
needs to be a
It
church.
will. It would.
But
It could be the church. Like, let's say this. Let's say. Well, I don't know if we can discuss it, but let's say. You're married tomorrow, Candy. Okay, and unfortunately, your parents pass away, and you get an inheritance of $1 million. Okay, if you view marriage the traditional way, my way, would you give your man all of the money that you got in your inheritance like that? Would you do it?
yeah, I mean, if there, of course, it's for both of us. I think.
Yeah, but would you give him authority to use the money to whatever he wanted, assuming that whatever he does is for the benefit of the family one way or another?
Yeah, but I would also like assume that he kind of said, like, are you fine with doing this? Like, there should be a discussion first. He can't just go and like put it on poker or make one spin like Trainwreck is doing.
You mean gambling?
Yeah, gambling. He can't do it in gambling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Or
He
I
should.
mean, yeah.
Well, here's the thing: gambling is prohibited in Christianity. It's prohibited
Yeah, but what if he
because what this
wanted to do that?
yeah, he
That
really
would be
shouldn't
really
do that
rude.
because Well, hang on, stop. If we're assuming now that your man has a gambling addiction and you're married to him, then
Yeah.
you know he's not a good man. He's not a good person because he is still responsible for all of the financial resources within the marriage.
Yeah, well,
Even
it's
I'm assuming
horrible
if the
gambling,
two
yeah.
of you are working, you will still have a pool of money to which you want to spend it towards something
Yeah.
positive. But
No,
if he's
but
a gambling addict, you need to be extremely careful then. Or in
well,
fact,
yeah,
you
but let
probably
me,
shouldn't
yeah,
have
that's like a
married him if
weird.
he was an addict.
Okay, can I reply just to the question? Like, that's a
Sure.
weird scenario. In a good scenario, like, yeah, you and your man, you're making decisions together. Like, hopefully, he would ask you if he wanted to buy like summer house. Like, yeah, he would probably ask you first with those money, you know. And no, but I think that of course it's of course I wouldn't mind my man. I wouldn't choose to marry a
Choose.
man. I wouldn't choose to marry a man if I didn't trust him with my money, you know.
Yeah, that's fair. You wouldn't choose someone whom you couldn't trust 100%.
Yeah.
And that's
But
how a Christian marriage is supposed
yeah.
to be, that where the wife not only just to submit to her husband, she puts all of her faith and trust in him as
It's
she's
yeah.
supposed to do to the Lord. If
Yeah,
she
yeah,
can't do
you're
that, she shouldn't get married at all.
you know what? I think I agree with you. I feel a lot. It's just that in today's day and age I think it's really hard. It's really hard for a woman to, like, first of all, there's so many options, and second of all, women are so independent nowadays, and
Yeah.
and then third, if it's my inheritance, it feels like I should be able to do whatever I wanted to do with that money, or maybe do something that I find respectful to my parents that they would like, you know.
They say burn it however you want.
What? Or the parents say
Use
that.
the money however you want. Use it
I would
however you
still
want.
think. I mean, I wouldn't if my parents. I would still do. You know, we would still like want to respect them, of course.
Yeah, sure. I'm not disputing that. But
Yeah.
if they tell you, if they give you an inheritance, but they don't mention anything to do with it, it's up to you now. You can do whatever you want with it. You can gamble the money if you really want to.
Yeah, but well, I
That's
mean,
up to you. But
at the end of the
ultimately, you
day,
still.
you're together. It's not the man. It's not the man who makes. I don't think that the man should have authority over it, because it's like it's your money. Same as if a woman is the one who's making the money in the household. Why should the man have authority? Then I feel like the woman should have more power in the decision making. I feel like
By
if
that logic, then, if the man is making the money, she gets no say in it whatsoever because
yeah,
he's supposed to be the
don't you think
provider.
so? Don't you think so though? If you're
No,
making
I don't.
if
I
you
don't
have a
think in
stay at
a
home
way.
wife,
Yeah.
if you have a stay-at-home wife,
Sure.
would you, and you say you have authority over her already, but if she wanted to
Sure.
do online shopping, like you have a stay-at-home wife, and she
Mhm.
just orders $200 order from Lyko, or I mean beauty products, and she doesn't tell you
Okay.
before, what would you say? You think it's a bad financial decision, but she just does it with your money. What would you say?
Well, here's the thing. If she's gonna put that to good use and she's gonna make herself look pretty for me, for example, for when we go out, or she just wanna put on makeup because he likes it and she wants to make herself beautiful for her husband, that's not a bad thing. But here's the thing. When the husband is making money and she's a stay-at-home wife, it's not his money, it's their money. Because from a Christian perspective, they are considered one unit. They're
Yeah.
considered one unit. There's no two separate units working as one. It's one unit only. They
Yeah,
have become one flesh.
it's
But
beautiful to
that's not
think that
viewed.
way.
Yeah, but most people don't view it that way because everyone has become their own person. It's every man for themselves, basically. That's
Yeah.
not a good thing. Because this idea of being independent, I don't believe in that shit for 1 second. People who say, not just women, people who say they're independent are full of themselves. No one is truly independent. Women say they're independent when they're really not, because they still go to work, they rely on a car that men built, they go to a building where men built it, and men provided the electricity, the plumbing, air conditioning, what have you. So they may not directly need men, but they still need men by proxy because men are the ones who built society. They're the ones who build it. Women don't build societies. Men do. They build all of the infrastructure.
I
They
think
build
women
all of
build a
the.
lot. I think women What?
No,
Fuck
they
that.
don't.
Woman is building society. Women are the ones getting pregnant, carrying children, giving birth.
No, they're
Like,
not. No, they're not. They're not doing it
yes.
enough. They're not doing it
Okay,
enough,
but
Candy.
that's how.
They're not
That's
doing it
literally
enough.
without woman, there would be no society. So it's weird to say that. I think.
Oh, I don't dispute
Yeah.
that. If
Yeah.
we had no women, man, society would die eventually, but society would still keep going until every last human being or every man, let's say women disappear tomorrow,
Yeah.
society would still function more or less the same because men are the ones who build all of the infrastructure. We are the ones who do the dangerous, dirty jobs and provide resources for everyone to use, including women who think they are independent. But if women would all disappear tomorrow, men would live somewhat fine. Society would still going until every man died and there would be no people left. But the inverse is not true. If all men were to die tomorrow, there would be no more electricity, no more plumbing whatsoever. There is not enough women in those fields to keep society going at the same degree men are running it. There's nowhere near enough. And there's a whole book about it that I read about. It's called The World Without Men, where a guy actually did the work, went through all of the math, did all of the statistics, and found that there's nowhere near enough women in the world that are working these same jobs that men are, where they provide electricity, water, gas, metal, what have you. There's nowhere near enough women to keep running.
We don't even need those things. Like, we don't need we don't need electricity, gas. We don't need those things. Those are just luxury things. But women,
how do you plan on streaming then?
No. Listen, I don't need to stream. A woman in general, they work with caretaking. I think, and I think probably you do too, that women have this in them. Like, they know how to take care of, be caring, take care of an elder, take care of a child. Like, this is something that women are born with, and these are the things that are truly important in society. We don't need gas, we don't need electricity. We've lived without.
Yes,
you always talk about the past, like medieval days. Like, we don't need those things. We need a woman who takes care of the sick and who takes care of the children. Like, that's what we need to go forward.
Yeah, but women are not having enough children. In fact, most women send their children to daycare and they go off to do their job at some company or something. Women put their children in daycare and you have other women raising their children instead of the parents actually raising their children. If it was up to me, I would rather see society where men are off to do the work, they take care of the household, they provide, they protect, and women stay home and raise the children. Why? Because then you are raising children with values that are actually important, in my opinion, where the boys are taught how to provide for, how to protect, how to take care of the children. They were taught. They were taught this by their father, and the mother would raise the daughters to be good wives, and sons would be raised to be good husbands. But these days, we don't do anything like that anymore. We send all of our children to daycare instead.
Because men, they're working like more than full time, and women, they work as much as they can, or as much as they work to their best of their ability, and then they take care of the children too. But there's not going to be, in today's society, when you're talking about that, there's not going to be enough of time for a man to raise a child. A man needs to provide,
Yeah, you're right. He needs to provide. But the thing is, most men these days, as soon as they get off work, they just want to spend time with their family. But they can't because they have to work so many hours to provide for their significant other. They have responsibilities.
Honestly, I've seen this firsthand. You don't know this yet because you are not in a relationship and you're not married. But like, when I've seen like people around me, like the men seem to really, really like working. They seem to prefer going to the job over than being home with the family.
That may be true, but there has to be a reason for that. Maybe their wife is just miserable to be with. I don't know. Oh. It may be the case that I'm not saying it's wrong, but if that is the case, they need to figure it out then. Because if he prefers genuinely working so much that he would rather work, go to a bar, drink, then come home just to get some sleep, and then repeat this every day for the rest of his life, something is wrong in that marriage, and they need to figure it out. because either he's miserable to be with or she's miserable to be with. It's one or the other.
Yeah, sure. Um, I think that we can agree to disagree that I think probably the man just really likes working. Maybe it's not about yeah, could be that they also are miserable. Who
Well,
knows?
here's the
But
thing. This is
wait,
one of the sacrifices men have to make. Most people don't like it, but this is one of the sacrifices men have to make. Because if the wife actually can stay home full time and devote all of her time and energy to the children, and they raise the children the way not just the father but the mother wants, if they can do that, that is a blessing. That is a luxury most people want but can't afford, unfortunately. And it really sucks. But men do their damn best to make sure they can actually do that. And it may have to happen that he may have to work endless hours every week, and he's going to become bitter. He's going to become miserable. But he does it for them. It's not just for himself. He does it for them because he loves them and he cares them. Christ did the exact same thing when he sacrificed his life. This is what it actually means. This is one of the duties of men in a Christian household, that they lay down their
can I just
life.
say, I just feel like the men seem to like you're putting it like that. I don't think it is like that. I think the men prefer to be out of the house and to be working. They prefer doing labor over raising children, and they're gonna take every chance they can to work. I've seen it many times. I see it over and over. Like in society, reality. That's how it is.
Okay. I mean, if that's the case, if they have that kind of arrangement and they're okay with it, is that a problem, really?
No, well, that's what I'm talking. I was talking about my situation that I was talking about family member.
But
Uh,
I've seen the same case. But I've also seen the results of people not raised by their parents, but they're raised by daycare workers and school. And sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. So
yeah.
the question is, what is the optimal choice in when it comes to raising children? Do we want the parents to raise them because the children are the parents' responsibility, or do we leave it in the hands of daycare workers and nannies?
Well, personally, I trust the Swedish government and I trust the Swedish school system. I really do, and I think that I think a child, especially a young child, they're most they feel safest when they're with their parents. But
I agree.
but
And imagine if they were able to be with their parents full time, all
yeah,
day,
that
every
would be
day.
great. That would be great. That would be great. But I
Mm-hmm.
think also like
That's
now
what I want.
as a parent, like I feel like women have a lot of pressure, feeling like okay, now I need to, I need to come up with fun things to do every time, all the day. There's a lot of pressure on being a parent, also.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, when I watch you, I think you're doing amazing work. Don't get me wrong. But I don't fully agree with it because I would rather see you devote all of your time towards raising your children instead of just uh, um, having, for example, maternity leave and then going back to work and leaving
Yeah.
him just a father. As long as there's a parent in the home, I'm okay with that. But I
Yeah.
would prefer
Well,
to see the mom because I don't
I
want to see her
mean,
get burned having to work so many
how
hours.
many hours is it in a month? Wait, let me Google that. How many hours in a month? It is 730 hours in a month. And I last month I streamed 56 hours out of 730. So maybe I don't know if it seems like I stream a lot, but I really am not
Well, here's the
prioritizing
thing.
live streams.
I would prefer to see you prioritize being with your children over streaming. Now, I
Well,
understand that
didn't
you're,
you just
yeah,
hear?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. You didn't stream that many hours. I get it. But I would
Yeah.
prefer if you would devote more time towards your children instead. I get that some parents may get the feeling of going back to work and all that. I prefer not to be that in my case
I don't know.
because I would want my wife.
Personally, I think it's good to have. I think I don't know. I'm not sure of this, but I used to have a theory that it's probably good if people are more equal and people agree with each other more. So if more people are raised with like in
Oh, I don't
daycare and
dispute
in
that. I
school,
agree.
yeah, and they're raised with one sort of, they're raised to agree with each other. I think that it's gonna lead to something good in society in the end. Like if everyone is raised at home and some crazy mother is having their kids get really weird takes, and you know, and if if the kids never leave their house and in their homeschool and stuff, they're never gonna have arguments, or they're never gonna teach each other anything. You know how much when I was a teenager I argued with my parents so much because like I went out and I heard like other how I heard, like I learned how to act.
So you were rebellious?
Yeah, I was, yeah, of course. And who isn't rebellious as a teenager? But
Yeah, I was the same thing.
yeah,
But what I did at least is, even though I would go out, club, party, and all that, I would be responsible, and I would call my parents every now and then, tell them, "Listen,
that's
I'm
sweet.
gonna be late. All is well. You don't have to worry about me. I have a plan for getting home. It's
They
all good
probably
and
don't worry
dandy."
about you. They're like, oh my
No,
god,
they
thank
do
God he's
worry.
out
My
of the
mom
house.
always worried. No, my mom
Okay.
always worried because let's say I were to go on a cruise for a few days,
Yep.
okay?
Yeah.
And my mom, she knows that they're all gonna be bad people. And she says, listen, son, if you order a drink, make sure you're watching the bartender as he's mixing the drink. And if you leave your drink at a table and go somewhere else, don't go back for it because someone might slip something into it. And this actually happened to me when I was at DreamHack, I believe 2023. Someone's
God.
actually spiked my drink.
I feel like someone did that to me too at DreamHack that year. Because I literally had one beer and it tasted weird, but I still kept drinking it and I don't remember if I finished it, but I was so hungover the next day and I literally had one beer. So I feel like it was spiked too. I don't know what happened. I really feel like it was spiked too.
Yeah,
I remember telling my
listen,
friend like this tastes
yeah,
weird.
that wasn't your intention that it would happen,
No.
right? But it
No.
still happened. So
Thank
you
God I
became a
didn't drink
victim
more,
of
yeah.
something because someone wanted to do bad things. That happens. It happened to me too. I couldn't sleep properly. I went back to my hotel at like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
and my brain was still buzzing like crazy when I woke up like 6 hours later. It was still buzzing.
I wonder what they did because we got it from tap, but I feel like someone got something in it or in the glass. I feel like someone put something
Yeah,
in the
well, here's the
glass.
thing. Someone offered to buy me a few drinks because
For
they
me, I
basically
bought it
challenged me.
myself. Yeah.
Yeah, they basically challenged me, but I didn't see them when they were getting the drinks. I wasn't watching what they were doing. The one who offered to buy me drinks. I didn't see what they were doing, and I listen, I don't have full proof, but I suspect they spiked my drink with something because I was feeling weird things in my brain. But this just goes to show if you're not careful, bad things are going to happen to you, even though you're in an environment with a lot of people who can see what happens.
Yeah,
People are going to be sneaky.
Yeah, it was weird. That was weird that I felt that, and I think my friend had a drink ticket that day, and she was like, "Oh, I can give you a beer because and she is a girl, and I asked her like, does it taste weird? But I don't think that she would, you know. Anyway, okay, but is it football starting now? I just want to ask you one question here, one last question. So,
Sure.
do you think like one of these relationship where you have the authority and a woman is yours submissive, do you think they would do you realistically think they are going to work in Sweden?
Like while we were married or what?
Yeah, what do you think that it can work? Like, basically, do you think it's gonna be hard for you to find a wife in Sweden?
No.
You don't think so? But you're still like 30 plus and you haven't found a wife.
Yeah, that's because I'm being extremely cautious on whom I choose. Because if I make a bad choice and I marry a bad woman, I'm essentially stuck with her for life. Even though I can get divorced the next day, that's not really a good thing because I would then lose half of my marital assets. All of the stocks I have, all of my resources and my assets, they would be split evenly, even though the marriage didn't really start to begin with.
Well, if you
So I
find
was,
if you actually find a woman that is independent, I don't think she wants your stocks. She would probably think that they're yours, you know? Like Melina and Destiny got a divorce. She's an
yeah,
independent woman from Sweden. There was from what I know at least, there was no fighting for any money in that. And he probably had a lot more money than she did.
yeah, that's not
There's
really a
no
good example of a
fighting.
marriage. That's a horrendous example of a marriage.
But anyway, she could have like went after his stocks, but Swedish women wouldn't do that because we're independent, you know?
It's not about you being independent. It's about understanding how the government works when it comes to divorce. If there is no fault in the marriage whatsoever, okay?
People.
Soccer
Yeah.
time, let's all work together for a better future. Let's say, should I lost my train of thought? So, okay, let's say this. Let's say there's no fault in the marriage, okay? Let's say there's no domestic violence, there is no abuse, no verbal abuse, nothing of that sort whatsoever. Everyone does everything correctly. And one of them then decides out of nowhere to divorce their spouse. Do you think that's fair on the person who's devoted all of his time and energy? You said yes earlier, but I really want to make sure you actually understand, because this happened recently with NMP LOL, where he was married for, I think, about 10 years to, I think she's Norwegian, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
I don't, what was her name? Do you know her name?
Malena.
Okay, he was basically married to Malena for 10 years. Okay, he was doing his duties as the husband. She wasn't doing, I don't know if she was doing her duties as the wife, but they had no children whatsoever. And during the divorce proceedings, she wanted more. She didn't want 50-50. She wanted 60-40. She wanted 60-40 of his assets.
Yeah, because he had a career. Still, she would leave with
Yeah, but
nothing.
he had that career,
career
prior to meeting her as well.
No,
Even though if
they were together for 10 years. Like basically, they made a career together. Like I feel like it is kind of fair of her to ask for that. Plus, she probably was doing like not only did
he wanted 50-50. He wanted 50-50. He wanted to split everything 50-50.
Yeah.
He essentially got what he wanted, but she wanted more than what he was asking for.
Yeah, because
she wanted, you know what she wanted?
She was left with nothing, while he had all the income stream. Maybe didn't even have any pension or anything like that. Like he was the breadwinner while she was.
Wasn't she working and earning her own money as well?
I don't think so. I think that he was the one. Probably on his name. I don't know. Probably on his name. You know.
Yeah, but they were sharing everything together. Like, here's the thing: there's no just me in marriage. Anything that is under my name is also my wife's.
Yeah.
That's
Also,
this
is also American. Yeah. This is not how. This is not what it's gonna
be. Yeah, but
like
that's how the law views married couples. Even though that's not the dynamic anymore. That's not the dynamic anymore, where the husband would go out to work and she would stay home, be the stay-at-home wife, raising children whatsoever. I don't think that was the case with them. But they had no children whatsoever. Yet she was asking.
She probably, I'm sure
hang on.
she took care of. Yeah.
I don't dispute that maybe she cooked for and cleaned for him and she did what she was supposed to do. But in a modern relationship, you can't ask for traditional treatment. It doesn't work anymore, because that would then entail that someone's going to be in charge and someone's going to follow.
Yeah.
So if one's going to lead, the other has to follow. That's how it works.
Yeah.
If you don't want to follow, don't follow. But don't then complain that you can't find someone that can't lead you because you don't think his leadership is good enough. That's not exactly how it works.
Let me just let's have a closing statement now, because I think it's about time to have a closing statement. Okay, so I just want to say, like, I think that you taught me a lot today. I feel like it's good for me to realize as a woman that, you know, men should have a lot of authority, and maybe I should submit a little bit more to men and not consider just being a little bit more agreeable, just to have a more pleasant life, you know. I think so, because women are bad at making decisions at the end of the day. I think, and me, or at least I.
I agree.
Then I don't think that this is for true for everyone. I think there's some women who are really strong and independent, and of course there is strong and independent women who can take care of themselves. They need no man. And yeah, and I think it's fine to live your life like that too. You don't have to be a submissive. You don't have to submit to a man, you know? Yeah.
They kind of do, though, if you think about it.
No, they don't.
I don't think.
No, they don't. No.
Yeah, they do. If you think about it, they kind of do. Because if they have a job, let's assume the boss is a man. Don't they submit to his authority within the company? Because he can then decide, listen, you're going to be at work at this hour, you're going to dress this way, you're going to do your job, or you're fired. Does it not put the man in a role of authority?
Maybe the boss is a wife.
Boss is a wife? You
mean
a woman?
No, the boss is a woman, yeah. The boss is a woman, yeah.
Yeah, but that doesn't change the dynamic. still doesn't change the dynamic.
Okay.
The employee
boss-
still need to work for the employer, and
the
the
boss could be
employer
a woman.
decides the rules. So
Sure.
you're gonna do this, you're gonna do
Yeah, of
that, you're gonna
course.
do that.
No,
So
that's fine.
is she
Okay,
really
Mr.
independent
Mashallah,
then?
now you need to say your closing statement.
Yeah, I disagree with a lot of things that you said, Candy, unfortunately. And hopefully, in the future, if we have another debate, maybe we can dive into those topics a bit more. But I hope that more people now understand where I'm coming from and why I think the way I do. Because in today's society, where everyone has become more secular, men aren't seeking relationships, nor are they seeking marriage. They're only seeking women to use for their own benefits. This includes sex, what have you. And I think that's unfortunate because I don't want to view women merely as sex objects. They're human beings too. They are more than just sex. And I think if we start elevating women to think that they are more than just that and not just lumps of flesh, we can do that. But it needs to start with the women who may give the body to men for free, whether it's in a hookup or in a casual relationship or what have you. If we stop doing that, you're gonna see that a lot of men will have to then agree to a woman that if he's gonna have sex with her, she's gonna say, I want to get married to you first so that I know that I can trust you, so that you're not gonna use me for sex and then dish me afterwards. I think we should have more of that, in my opinion.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mashallah, for the debate. It was very interesting, and I think it was very. I feel like we learned a lot, right? And it's okay to have different opinions, and we can still be friends, even though
By the way,
even though we disagree. Yeah.
I'm gonna send you my notes for this debate because I barely got through
Oh,
what
yeah,
I was
get it,
supposed to
yeah.
say, but I can send them to you so you can read through them, and perhaps you can learn a thing or two as well.
Yeah, thank you. Good luck with finding a woman, especially in Sweden. I think that it's gonna be hard because with the Swedish society, I think it's gonna be hard to find a woman who wants to like admittedly just submit to someone.
Here's the thing: a lot of people, or I should say, a lot of women want the dynamic I mentioned because they understand what it actually means. But I think what has happened is that we've diluted the aspect of marriage to the point where it's more of a title than an actual dynamic and what it actually means to get married. I think that is the biggest problem. Oh
Yeah.
shit, Ellen rated.
Yeah, thank you, Ellen. Thank you for the raid. Hello, everyone from Ellen. We're just done with our discussion now today on authority and submission. Yeah. So we're done now, and we have
Hey
agreed to
people,
disagree.
good to see you again.
Yeah. Have a nice summer, chat. Oh my god, have a nice summer. I will see you when I see you, okay? I will see you when I see you.